History at the beach today, a dead shark and a ray wash ashore in Delray Beach. One with a hook attached, the other with fins cut off.
So sad, so sad. Obviously they caught the ray to use it as bait because they've hacked off, clearly with a knife, both sides of its fins.
As today there is word that divers uncovered 2 more dead sharks.
You're not supposed to see them like that was very hard for me. I got tears in my mask.
Be it a marine creature, prehistoric artifacts, or unexplained findings.
There we go, there we go.
Canada has a lot to offer and to pique your curiosity. So, let's watch the discoveries made in the second largest country that shocked the whole world. Last year, locals in this region got worried about seeing such an unusual fish on the seashore. As authorities arrived, they confirmed that it was a megamouth shark, a species which is found deep in the ocean. It was one of the firsts to ever be discovered on land, as it's extremely rare for them to come to shore. Not sure how this one got out, but the reason could likely be climate change that affected its habitat. Beached behemoth.
In the frigid waters off northern Vancouver Island, a small community has made a massive discovery.
Back in 2018, a ball-like creature was discovered by the locals near Vancouver Island. But it turned out to be a bloated carcass of a humpback whale, as their decomposition releases some gases so they puff up like this. But you wouldn't want to get too close, as it may explode at any moment. Scientists used this rare opportunity to study the female whale. They could not find the exact reason why she passed away, but speculated that the marine giant may have encountered a boat and was pushed to the shore.
Basically, we drove down there and it was really, I thought it was a rock at first.
Eternal embrace. A great white was found stranded on the shore. Interestingly, it was perfectly intact with no scarring at all. Local authorities had yet to figure out the cause of the demise of this giant. But the pitiful detail they noticed was that the shark was pregnant, weighing around 1,500 pounds. The 13-foot mama shark,
Did you say 13 feet?
was probably looking for a meal to nurture the baby and met this unfortunate fate. Locals tried to help it get back into the water, but the giant has already met its tragic end. Plastic plight. In 2015, on the beach of Pacifica, a massive endangered whale washed ashore. Locals had come out to see the animal up close. Ultimately, researchers arrived to figure out the cause of the animal's demise. And the reason turned out to be far worse than expected, as it was acutely pollution. Scientists found around 450 grams of trash in its belly. And I think this should be reason enough for us to not throw our trash in the ocean. Marine pregger.
A relaxing day at the beach turned into something unexpected. A family never expected to see, yet pull a 10-foot-long dead shark.
Here's another similar incident where beachgoers on Orange Beach were shocked to see a massive hammerhead shark lying on the shore. But soon they realized it had actually passed away.
There's a shark on the beach. I've never seen that before.
Authorities pulled the heavyweight shark from the beach. Marine biologists found that the shark was about 14 feet tall, and this one was also expecting about 40 pups. There needs to be a way to protect these animals.
And I did ask the scientists what's going to happen to the shark. They said they're going to collect some more samples and she'll soon be buried.
Atlantic giant. Canadian waters have become a doomsday spot for North Atlantic right whales. Many stranded carcasses have been found on the shores in the past. A local marine welfare society reported to have found more than 18 Atlantic giants in the same region. One of the carcasses was found floating and probably passed away. There was also spotted on the beach. The conditions of the next one show that it has been quite there for a while. The reason for their demise was simple human activity like cruising and fishing nets. The Welfare Society urged the people to take strict actions to save the precious lives of marine animals. Alienated Skull.
I kind of just feel a little bit uncomfortable right now. Stop!
I'm gonna keep touching it, dude.
In 2022, while in a ravine of the Pacific Northwest, A group of explorers noticed a strange skull buried in the soil. As they uncovered it, they couldn't figure out which animal it belonged to.
Holy cow, dude. That is not a bear.
At first, they thought it was a bear, but the size of the skull was too large to be one. The features did resemble humans or a primate, but it didn't fit right. And the group soon realized that it could be a Bigfoot skull. They decided to take it along and handed it over to official authorities for inspection. Devilfish. In 2019, a gray whale was discovered stranded on the beach in California. The incredibly long carcass was about 45 feet tall. A huge crowd had gathered to witness the animal closely. Unfortunately, it wasn't the only whale. 8 other gray whales were also found in the area. Scientists are not sure why it happened, but they are still trying to figure it out to this day. Back on fins. A few years back, in 2015, a shark had beached across the borders of Canada at Massachusetts. To find out if the shark was still alive, locals on the beach threw water on it. And here we go. The shark started to move, so the people took it upon themselves to pull it back to the ocean. Tying a rope on its tail, and they eventually pulled it with the help of a boat. And finally, the shark was returned to its home. Stunning performance. A group out on a boating trip found 3 massive humpback whales. They were swimming mindlessly, but when the boat arrived, they started to swim away. Eventually they divided, showing their breathtaking large tail. The group was a bit concerned as they thought their boat was about to be overturned. But wait. The marine giants were about to put on a special show for them. Here we go. A twisted spin. There's the other one. And whoa, right beside is the third one. That was one eye-pleasing view, I must say. Mermaid of the Caribbean.
There looks like they're playing mermaid games.
While boating, a man saw some weird fish swimming in the murky waters nearby. And when he looked closely, the man thought that he had seen a mermaid. But it was not just one, but lots of similar creatures moving around in the water. However, he was able to capture the entire body of one of them. Have a look. It surely looks like a mermaid. The man realized that the mermaid was playing tricks on him, so he decided to leave them alone. Boating Blue. At first glance, you might think it's a blue whale swimming close to a boat, but its upside-down form indicated that it was a whale's carcass floating in the waters of Nova Scotia, and it turns out that the boaters were there to retrieve the carcass. Researchers found that this giant was a female and sort of a teenager. Even though it was a young one, it was still about 60 feet long. The boat carried the carcass to the shore so that it could be studied by the scientists. Ogopogo. Canada has its own folklore. A creature known as Ogopogo is said to be specifically found in the water bodies of British Columbia. It has the same features as the Loch Ness Monster. The only difference is the nationality. This one footage from the region shows an animal the face of which resembles a duck, but it has a long tail projecting out. Could this be an Ogopogo? In another sea of British Columbia, a bizarre phenomenon occurred in a water body. It seemed as if crashing waves were forming some sort of a tornado. What is going on here seems to be a mystery. Locals claim that these waves were actually caused due to the movement of Canadian Nessie. Caught in trouble. A rare moment of shark was caught on camera by an onlooker on Brunswick Beach. The whale had already passed away, so the shark decided to use this opportunity for its own good. The scene showed the sheer force these animals possess. And you might think it's not all that good, but it is actually a sort of nature's cleanup. The decomposing whale could have polluted the environment, but due to the food chain, the ocean was purified instantly. Third wheel.
An incredible whale encounter on BC's central coast, and they saw a humpback whale 100 meters away. They turned off the engine of their dinghy
A couple boating in the waters of British Columbia got an unexpected visitor, a humpback whale. The marine giant clung to the underside of the boat, refusing to let go, and the boat moved on its own. The couple, not expecting the third wheel, decided to not interrupt the whale. They did not stop the engine to leave, as it would hurt the humpback. Instead, they waited patiently for the whale to go away on its own, before finally wrapping up the trip.
Once it also got used to us, it started kind of slapping the boat around, and
the whale did some minor damage to the underside of the boat, but they say it was a small price to pay for an incredible experience.
Neon Sea.
You guys have no clue what's going on here?
In 2010, the flowing water on the river of Vancouver Island turned neon green. At first, locals as well as researchers were stunned and could not figure out what happened on the site. But later on, it turned out that it was just a prank. Not a good one, though. Some troublesome people had added fluorescein in the pond out of boredom. Although this chemical was not harmful to the environment, but authorities still advised not to play with nature in any way, as there may be some hidden consequences. Marine bull. In 2014, a whale carcass was found on the shore of Trout River in Canada. It had started to bloat because of the mixture of gases formed inside due to decomposition. One of the gases was methane. The foul smell uneased the locals nearby. But it was not just the rotten gas that was the problem, as there was gas buildup inside the whale. So the carcass could burst at any moment and cause harmful effects and pollution. So the authorities arrived on time to dispose of the carcass properly. Peaceful at last. Thankfully, 2012 was not the end of the world for us, but unfortunately, we can't say the same for this giant whale that was found stranded on the rocky beach in Vancouver Island. It was still alive when it reached the shore, but sadly met its eternal fate. Measuring up to 10 meters, this humpback whale was the first of its kind to reach shore in the region. Nothing is known for sure about its demise, but as a fishing net was found nearby, so some speculated that it could have gotten trapped in there. Whatever the reason was, it was left to rest in peace. Final voyage. Recently in January 2024, a stranded shipwreck was captured by a drone flying over the beach of Cape Ray, Canada. The ship's structure was constructed from wooden dowers and copper pegs. As these materials were used in the past centuries, the ship was considered to be from the 19th century.
Some research whether we're talking 17th century, 18th, 19th.
Researchers suggested that it might have reached shore after getting dislodged from the ocean floor in 2022. But it is not the only stranded ship discovery. 8 other vessels were also washed ashore in the same region. These relics sure gave a window into the past. Jagged jawline. This poor whale was found beached on a shore near Oregon. With a little scarring around its mouth area, its magnificent teeth were intact and visible. The size of this whale was about 40 feet. Locals could not figure out what caused the sperm whale to surface, but researchers think it might have been a victim of a boat incident. After inspection, authorities decided not to let locals visit the area, so the heavy whale was left uninterrupted to decompose naturally. Nurturing trial. A guy flying his drone over Nova Scotia captured a very odd scene. Lying upon the muddy beach was the carcass of bottlenose dolphin. Although appearing smaller from an aerial view, it was about 10 feet long. Further research on the carcass revealed that the dolphin was a heavily pregnant female. The exact reason for its demise is not known, but it may have beached itself in an attempt to find food closer to the surface. Break the ice. Back in February 2009, dolphins became the target of freezing cold Canada and got trapped within patches of ice. The white-beaked dolphins tried to pass through the water, but they were unable to move as the ice was blocking the way. They even made distressed sounds asking for help. Good thing that the rescue team arrived on time, and with the help of local volunteers, they were able to free and release the mammals in a nearby sea. Whirlpool. Canadian seas may have a black hole of its own kind. Around the coasts of British Columbia, swirling holes can sometimes form in ocean water, the strength of which can take in any nearby object. The reason for the formation of these devil holes is quite tricky. But let me explain. When the high-moving waves pass through a narrow passageway, then they may come in contact with another one coming from the opposite direction. These two combine together, resulting in a powerful pull. This is the perfect example of unity and strength. Nunchoga.
They have to act immediately because once this woolly mammoth baby is exposed to the elements, it can start to deteriorate.
In 2022, a Canadian miner unexpectedly found a woolly mammoth fossil and informed the authorities to deal with the intact preserves. After being recovered, it was transported to the Canadian Conservation Institute in Ottawa. The fossil dates back to around 35,000 years old, and was a juvenile female that was about a month old when she passed away. This discovery was quite special, as no other mammoth had been discovered in Canada before. Polar trouble. In 2023, a polar bear was found in the middle of the Canadian Ocean. It probably came there to feast and lost its way. As the kayaker went near the bear, it swam away. Here's another encounter that was quite the opposite. This time the polar bear started chasing the car driver passing by, not disturbing the animal. Did you see that her cubs were also there, so this chase was probably a motherly instinct for protecting the young ones? Friend in need. A few months back on the coast of Florida Beach, the carcass of an orca was discovered washed ashore. The heavy crashing waves passing over the mammal were probably to blame. The carcass was of a female, weighing 6,000 pounds and about 21 feet in length. It's becoming really frequent for these marine giants to end up like this. Fish school. A couple of years back in 2015, a man uncovered a 60-million-year-old sandstone block while exploring Calgary Beach. There were about 5 fish fossils discovered inside. The most exquisite one was displayed to the public. The fossil had an intricate structure that almost seemed like the great work of an artist. The scientist claimed that the fish species was unique and had never been studied before. The find was later declared as a natural preserve by paleontologists who arrived on time, and the rock piece was transported to the Royal Tyrrell Museum for further research. Welcome waves. A pod of toothed whales passing through the coast of British Columbia was spotted by beachgoers. The phenomenal entry of the orca pod captivated onlookers. The giants just kept swimming across without any interaction with nearby people. One of them showed a minor stunt before diving back into the ocean. Kudos to the whale for free entertainment.
This is amazing! Oh my god! Ah!
Resting in peace.
20 feet away. My dad thinks it's been here for like...
A beachgoer found a stranded body of a sea lion along the coast. The carcass seemed to be well intact with no signs of scarring, which probably means that it was not a victim to any other marine predator.
But it was just... he's just laying on top.
But what could actually be the reason for its demise? The guy speculated that it was suffering from some disease which caused it to pass away.
I don't know what the heck happened to him. He's been out here for at least 2 days and nobody's called the county.
Brave act. Beachgoers on Adelaide Beach noticed a stingray flapping its fins on the shore. They got concerned for the sea creature and decided to help. A few men came forward to grab the slippery creature and tossed it back to the sea. Although there was a chance of harmful sting, but these guys did not care at all in hopes of saving a life. Well, they succeeded and the sea creature survived and lived freely in the ocean. Prehistoric Destination. Alberta is a great place to find dinosaurs, as it used to be the roaming area of the giant reptiles in the past. Although hunters have found a lot of great preserves, one that stands out from all is the intact skin of duckbill dinosaurs. The skin of an animal can provide more details about its features as compared to the skeleton. Just a few meters away, its skull was found as well. Another interesting find from Alberta was the perfectly preserved and oldest dinosaur, which was about 112 million years old. The complete skeleton is up for display in the Royal Tyrrell Museum nowadays. Sky Riddle. A strange array of lights was seen passing over the skies of Lake Wheeler Park in Canada. A group of 4 lights moved along one giant fireball. The sight was too strange as the residents had never seen anything like that before. Many people speculated that it was an alien spaceship, while others thought it was probably a secret mission by the government. The true nature of that sighting has remained a mystery. Marooned Marine.
Now in a remote town in Canada's Newfoundland, residents are facing an unusual problem of stranded harp seals.
A bizarre scene was captured back in 2019, when dozens of seals were found lying on icy roads. But that's not their real habitat. They came in with a high tide and became stranded on the road when the water froze over. The locals called the authorities for help and avoided interacting with the animals as they can get aggressive.
I have officially...
Soon the rescue team arrived and was able to save the seals. Moose cryptid. Cryptids can be found anywhere, and Canada is not free from their presence. Footage captured in 2021 shows the proof. It may seem that the moose is alone, grazing without any interruption, but watch out for the woods. They may hide stalking monsters inside. Apparently, a 6-foot-tall headless creature was peeking through the tree. Why was this creature stalking an animal? Was it looking for a prey? Or did it want to take control of its body as a costume? There are so many haunting theories, let me know what you think. Stranded gum.
Jellyfish and a bunch of dead birds.
In 2010, a beach got flooded with lots of stranded jellyfish. Thousands of these gooey creatures were lying on the beach, covering almost the entire area. They almost make it look like a slimy passageway. Jellies had likely washed out due to heavy crashing waves. It's not normal for marine animals to wash ashore in such large numbers. Some scientists suggest that this was due to climate change. The pH of water may change, which causes these creatures to gather and find new places of habitation. Ancient woman. Canadian explorers, while excavating a region in Turkey, uncovered a compact piece of sculpture buried in the ground. When completely cleared, it turned out to be the figure of a woman. This sculpture was considered to be about 3,000 years old, and it debunked common beliefs about traditional women in the past. As in ancient times, the sculptures were only built for people with noble status, so it showed that women also had quite a leadership role in the past as opposed to the traditional one. This particular lady was assumed to be a queen involved in the decision-making of the region. The scientists are further working to develop a technique to reconstruct her face for further study about the past.
I'm worried about putting the wood any further down because in case there's eyes.
Time-struck reptile. This fossil belongs to an ancient crocodile known as Steniosaurus bolensis that swam the dinosaurs. Like from the Jurassic times, the 165-million-old fossil was recovered from the Holzmaden Shale in Germany and was perfectly preserved. Its long-toothed snout showed it was probably a gharial, an ancient fish-eating crocodile. The gentle curve of the fossil showed the way it moved in the water. It's crazy how even their little movements get preserved in time. Rarest Blue. A couple while fishing found an exquisite-looking lobster on the shore of Cape Breton. Turns out it was actually one of the rarest ones to be ever found. The odds are 1 in a million. The couple was excited about their catch and they named it Opal. It was displayed at the local fishery. But the man believed that returning it to the water would bring prosperity and good luck. So he decided to release the sea creature back into the ocean. Good call. Catch of lifetime.
Gone downstream maybe 1 kilometer with him.
A group of Canadian men were out fishing and happened to catch one of the bigger fish. And it turned out to be a sturgeon. These fish have existed since the time of dinosaurs. The reason for their survival is probably their massive size and strong snout, which makes it difficult for predators and even fishermen to catch them. As it requires a strong fishing net of great strength to catch them, so the guys considered themselves lucky.
when that fish jumped out of the water, the sheer size and magnitude.
Kayaking Trouble. A kayaking trip guide had a challenging situation in the waters of British Columbia as the bear started to chase him. The grizzly bear appeared to be young, but it swam with an impressive speed. It might look like there's a bit of distance between the two. However, the tourists who recorded this footage claimed that the bear was much closer to their guide, although no one was sure why the bear chose to chase this kayaker. But luckily, it didn't result in any incident. Curled octopus. The crashing waves can bring a lot of sea wonders to shore. This time it brought an octopus on the ground. The good thing is that it was still alive and moving perfectly. It was likely trying to get back to the ocean. The struggle is surely worthy of note. But it wasn't just the only one. A few meters away, another one was found. This guy had actually won the race as it had reached the ocean. Just look at those curly tentacles. They did a great job. Highway bone.
Picked this up a ways back the road and I was going to take it home with me.
A man while passing through Trans-Canada pavement encountered something unexpected on the way. On the tree he saw something hanging, and it was actually an intact skull of a caribou. Amazed by its appearance, the man wanted to take this home.
I was going to take it home with me, but I don't know as I should.
But thinking that it might be disrespectful to the soul, he decided not to. Eventually, he placed the skull over a rocky structure to honor the soul of the animal. Moon duet.
A video of mysterious lights captured over northern Manitoba has got the attention of the wider UFO community.
In Manitoba, a man looking out at night observed some strange thing in the sky. At first, he thought he was looking at the moon, but then another one appeared closer to it. As it was an odd sight, he got afraid and reported it to the authorities. After viewing the footage, even the expert confirmed that it was something unusual and not just some lights. This person was not the only to witness the bright moon-like object. Similar sightings have been reported by other people as well. What they are remains an elusive mystery. Alaskan skull.
It's another deer.
An explorer was going through Alaskan sand when he came close to a particular skull embedded inside. As he pulled it out, he realized that it could be a deer skull. Only the upper part was discovered, showing teeth detail and a pointed nose. The explorer was excited about such an unexpected discovery. After analyzing the skeleton, he placed it back and continued his mission. It's time for today's open discussion. This picture of a shark circulating on the internet was captured last year and showed the tragic end of this great white shark that was found on the coastline of Nova Scotia. The carcass was 14 meters long and remained stranded for a week on the ground until a scientist team arrived for inspection. The analysis showed that the left fin of the shark was scarred and damaged. Though it was not clear, scientists think that it may have encountered an orca, as it is usual for them to feed on white sharks. As this incident occurred recently in November 2023, so scientists are still trying to figure out the behavior of this animal. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.